Day after day, Russia is pounding the eastern Donbass region of Ukraine, carving a slow but steady path into the heartland of that besieged nation. With the conflict now in its fourth month, the ferocious fighting in the eastern front could dictate the course of this entire war. And with that military fight also comes a political one. And that's where one Ukrainian parliament member says she has focused her fight. Alexandra Ustinova joining us now. Alexandra, you have been here in the U.S. caring for your country's future, speaking to about 50 members of Congress now. Well, also, I understand, caring for a new baby. This was a bit of an unexpected journey. Tell our viewers about this twist to your timeline.
Yes, thank you so much for telling that and for sharing that information. Yes, I came here when before the war started. It accidentally appeared to be here and had a baby because I literally couldn't go back home. And we named her Victoria as a small victory for my country, because every baby, every new Ukrainian now with this genocide happening, unfortunately, in Ukraine, is a small victory for us. And I've been here in D.C. trying to persuade the United States politicians, Congress people, for more support for our country, because we're not fighting only for our independence, but for the freedom of Europe, for the normal life in Europe, because Ukraine is not going to be the last country for Putin to be invaded. It had happened before to other countries. He had invaded Georgia, he had invaded Moldova. He's already been very clear about that Poland and the Balkan countries are next. So we're here today with the Ukrainian delegation asking for more support of weapons, because Ukrainians had never been asking to come fight for us, but we've been asking to give us more support in weapons, the financial support to buy these weapons so we can defeat Putin and stop him in Ukraine so he doesn't go further in Europe.
So let me ask you, you have had a chance to speak to about 50 members of Congress. Is there anybody in particular that you feel has really listened to you, has made you any promises, has even done something where you've been able to witness some type of action?
Honestly, there has been a very strong bipartisan support for Ukraine, and we as Ukrainians are very grateful for that. We really hope that the war in Ukraine will not get politicized, and that we will continue having this bipartisan support. Today, for example, we had a meeting with Senator Graham, who had introduced a bill on Russia being a state sponsor of terrorism, and we really hope that this bill will be passed in Senate next week, because if it is, that means that it will be much easier to put sanctions on the Russian banks and Russian oligarchs. We had very big support because the Ukrainian supplemental bill was passed a month ago, and almost $40 billion US dollars had been allocated specifically for Ukraine to buy weapons and to support our military. So we really hope that this support continues, and it would be enough to stop Putin in Ukraine. Unfortunately, we had an issue so far that even though the Congress has allocated money, almost $40 billion to support Ukraine, we have very slow weapons. We have the weapons that are coming in Ukraine are very slow, and we did have howitzers delivered, but unfortunately the multi-launch rocket systems that we are desperate begging for more than 2 months are not in Ukraine yet. We know there should be 4 delivered, but I really hope you understand that we have thousands of kilometers of battlefields now, and 4 launchers is nothing comparing to what is really needed. We need tens of those now. And that's why we are here today in DC asking the United States to provide us with these weapons, because there are money there for these weapons. All we need is the political will and political support for these weapons to be delivered, so our soldiers don't have to die in hundreds every day at the battlefield and can actually defeat the Russians.
So you have actually been lobbying Congress, as you just mentioned, for more weapons, for better weapons. And you are mentioning specific assets that have already been sent to your country. But we know that, you know, battles are decided by who controls the skies. So when you talk about air power, do you feel you have enough? And if you don't, what exactly do you feel you need specifically to not only fight this war from the ground, but from the air?
Probably almost every American have heard that Ukraine was asking for the no-fly zone, which means shutting down, closing the skies for any aircrafts or any missiles. Ukrainians had been very clear also about asking their jets that we had never been provided. We had been asking for mixed jets at the beginning of the war because we needed to defeat Russian jets flying over Kyiv and other cities and literally bombing. And that's what the world has been witnessing 24/7 when we had huge 500 kilograms bombs being dropped on our cities, on our kindergartens and our hospitals. And there was nothing we could have done because we were very short of the jets. Today, we're asking for the F-16 jets to be deployed to Ukraine and for our pilots to be trained to fly those jets, because so far we had been flying the jets that we had. But you should understand that the Russian military is doing their job, shutting down our jets. And unfortunately, if we don't have the air defense systems that hasn't been delivered to Ukraine to put down their missiles, if we don't have the jets delivered to Ukraine to put down their jets, we will have cities like Mariupol who had been totally destroyed. 90% of the city was totally destroyed. And for you to understand, that Mariupol is the size of Washington, D.C. Can you imagine one city like Washington, D.C. being erased?
No, and you've really put it in perspective just how this battle is spreading and the assets that you need. And I know you're going to stay here in D.C. and fight for it till this is over. Alexandra Ustinova, we will follow your work. Stay in touch, and congratulations on your little baby victory.
Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.